And moment they gather the information, they will try to leak out the information to somebody else, because you will have to look out for a person who will use this information. Now, either I myself is a black hat hacker who is very conscious of this information, and I will try to take a firoti from you, what we call the ransomware. Or what I will do, I will try to capture your information, and maybe I will sell your information to somebody else, because the information may not be useful to me, but then it might be useful to somebody else. So I will look out for a person for whom the information will be useful. Maybe it could be your enemy, maybe it could be a neighbor, or maybe it could be an office colleague, or maybe it could be a rival. Like in corporate, so many rivalries are there. So I will try to sell out the information, because once I've captured the information, what I will do, either I will pose a threat to you, or I will try to reach out to a person who could be a foe or an enemy. And then I will try to sell out the information, and he will use the information to best of his advantage. That is what the objective of the social engineering is. Now, there are various ways how to do a social engineering, like phishing, wishing, smishing, multiple kind of the in techniques are there. So let's start with the first one, the phishing, best known as most pervasive form of the social engineering, and almost very popular technique worldwide. Many people do it intentionally. Many people abstain it from doing it. Many people protect themselves from getting attempted as a phishing attack. Now, what will the phishing use? Fraudulent emails. So maybe let's say if I'm a fisher and I'm a black hat hacker and I'm doing a phishing kind of social engineering. So I will generate emails and broadcast it to thousands and lakhs of people worldwide with some kind of the email written in a very honey trapped manner, that you would also be receiving many number of the emails that certain bank has got collapsed in South Africa or Africa, and they've got the money they would like to transfer into you. Now they would like to have your information to proceed ahead, and then the transaction will get completed. So all these kind of fraudulent emails are being written, and then you also see that if they send an email to at least 10 lakhs, 1 million people, 10 lakh, 1 million, they go to 10 lakh. So at least 100 will definitely reply them, because human nature is like that we like freebies, and if some money is getting transferred free into account, who will not like to use it? So it's the easiest way. You send out a mail to at least 10 lakh of people, at least 100 will definitely reply back, and out of this 100, at least 50 will definitely reply with their own information, own personal information, bank information, that where they would like the money to get transferred. And in this way, the black hat hacker becomes successful in trapping these kind of persons by using their fraudulent emails. Or they could be attaching certain kind of the graphical image GIF files, or the PNG file, portable network graphic image file format, or the TIFF image, tag image file format. So some kind of the image they will attach, especially during festival season like Christmas or New Year or the Holi or Diwali. They will send certain kind of the very good colorful, beautiful email as a attachment as an email, and they will prompt you to click over it to see the card which has been designed exclusively for you. Then the aim is to target the people. So if they try it with at least 1 million or 2 million people, 10 lakh or 20 lakh people, at least 0.1% people will definitely get trapped. So maybe few 50s or few 70, 100 people will get trapped in their uh, entire plan. Now it could be text messages. They keep on sending the messages to you on almost on daily or almost on weekly basis. So some of the time you will ignore. From the time when you sit all idle doing nothing to do, you might get trapped and seeing what kind of these messages are. And again, they will be very lucrative in their language, in their format, in their images, and you again might get honey trapped in this process. Or they might be making a call to the people in sharing their own personal information. Especially the senior citizen get trapped in this process, because once you retire you get a pension, you get a good amount of money, and then you have money in your bank account. So senior citizens have got a lot of time also they at the home. So these persons They try to call the senior citizens, and then again they will honey trap them, use very lucrative language, give them few offers, and then they will try to get their bank information. They will transfer certain, they will say that, okay, I'm transferring OTP code, you tell me the OTP code, and then they will try to get access into your mobile phone or into your desktop or laptops. So phone calls is a very popular way to trick the people into sharing their personal data or user ID login credentials. Or they will prompt you that you download certain banking apps. So there are many number of the banks, Canara Bank, Indian Bank, SBI. So they will fraudulent apps they have designed, and they almost look similar to the original app. There won't be much of the information. They were very their background, their font size, their color, everything will be same as the original app or the website as such. So they will prompt you to
Sir,
download these. Yeah,
is
please go
there
ahead.
any is there any way to find out which one is genuine, which one is a fake one in the
There are
banking?
certain tools both in proprietary world as well as the open source world, which does this task of first of all prompting you to send the alert message that the website you are trying to access or the app you're trying to download is looks like malicious. But
Okay.
still, they will not stop you from doing it. If you want to go ahead, you will still go ahead and download it. But your warning message they do display, but they will not stop you. Ultimately, for the people person to decide that whether he is interested in downloading or not. But yes, there are very number of tools. Even in fact, the proprietary tools will block it.
Okay, sir.
Open source tool will prompt you,
Okay, sir.
and then they become quiet. Proprietary tools work along with the close conjunction with the operating system. They will detect that this malware is very harmful to the working of the operating system, and they will completely block it. You would not be able to use them as such. But open source, they will only send you the alert messages. That's
The
it.
prompt, basically.
Then
Okay.
sending a money transfer, because many NRIs are there abroad, their families are based in India, and they transfer the money almost daily basis. Many number of the NRIs in US, Saudi, Europe, Asia. So they transfer the money, and during the process of money transaction, cyber criminals get into the active mode. So sending the money to cyber criminals or taking other action that might expose them to the vulnerable number of the cyber crime. So moment any money transaction take place, financial information getting transferred over the web again comes into the category of the phishing attack. Now there's few categories of the phishing, like one is a whale phishing, a spear phishing that target corporate executive or wealthy individuals only. What is spear phishing? A highly targeted phishing attack that manipulates a specific individual who often use details from the victim public social media profile to make the scam more convincing. So they will fetch the information from your public official account. Like if the person is a celebrity, like sports star or a movie star or a politician, they are their target groups because they're very conscious of their image. They have taken years to build their image in the public eyes. You and me are the common person. So we don't worry about that, our social image as such. Because what is our life? Only our personal family home, or maybe in the university, or maybe in your office. But we are not public figures. But the public figure like celebrities, film star, movie star, sports stars, politicians, and they who have got millions of followers, lakhs of followers. So they're very conscious about their social image. They hire the PR agencies to maintain their social profile as such. So these kind of phishing, of whale phishing and spear phishing basically target these kind of individuals only, who are very good, high profile, wealthy people who have got a good social media followers, and they hire the agency even for posting their social media post. So and everything is man managed, and they spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of time in managing their profiles, and some of the time they also pay to get the followers subscribe to their channel. So it's a big world. Many people do many things, some good, some bad, but then there's no proper definition of good or bad in today's environment. What may be good to you may not be good to me. What may be good to you, me may not be good to you. So definition got actually blurred between the truth and false. It all depends upon circumstances. It all depends on the people. It all depends on action. So today's environment, things have drastically changed after coming of the social media platforms. Now, another category in the phishing is a business email compromise, where primarily business organizations are being scammed. So scams in which the cyber criminal pose as executives or there's vendors or maybe trusted business associate to trick victims into wiring money or sharing the sensitive data. So these are the scams in which cyber criminal usually will come as a good polished white collar job to people. Maybe they will carry the I card of the bank also, that I'm a executive such a bank. I'm ready to open the bank account free of cost. It will offer good amount of the return on your saving bank account, maybe 5%, 6% or 7%, or they will offer you the loans at a very attractive rate, less than the NBFCs, what we call non-banking financial companies, or than the banks. And then you will be lured to get into this trap and receive or reveal your secretive or sensitive information. So these all come into a category of the phishing attack. Now, phishing is only one category of it. Then there are other categories like uh, social engineering category, what we call DNS spoofing. So another common social engineering scam, also known as the DNS. DNS stands for the domain naming system, in which cyber criminal use a fake website or a domain name. Now, just like the example we were taking a few minutes back, how to distinguish between a genuine site and a fake site. Again, very, very difficult for a common person to do it. So, like for example, could be like if I want to, if I've got a Apple system or I'm using an Apple iPhone and I want to help support. So I can go to the site applesupport.com. That could be the original site. Now the hijacked site or the another duplicate site with a similar name could be the support.apple.com. And it will trick the people into entering the sensitive information. So the sites are very common. They have got a similar kind of a names. And for the normal person, again, the common person who's non-tech person, even though he's a tech, he will also get befooled in this process because these websites look very similar to each other. They use the similar kind of a color contrasting technique, the background color, the font style, the font size, the images, very, very close to the original website as such. So it's very, very difficult task to distinguish between what is fake website and what is the original website as such. And phishing emails often use spoofed sender domain names to make the email seem more credible and legitimate. This is what we were talking about the emails. The spoofed email will very much look like at the original email. The content, the language, the draft, very, very similar to it. So a person needs to be very conscious of where does he reply back and what mails he need to ignore. Normally, we in almost all mail boxes, we have got a spam folder and they apply the filtering technique to distinguish between the legitimate mails and the illegitimate mails. But even those, they also sometimes fail because the mails are so as good as original that they are able to bypass these filters and come into your inbox. And then again, you might get the honey trap into clicking them or viewing their content. And moment you do any of these stuff, the malware gets installed into your systems as such. So, and once that play with your social profiles, again we get into the category of the social engineering. That is what we call the phishing.
Sir, I have got a doubt.
Hanji.
You said, sir, regarding the fake and the original sites. Now, sometimes when we download from the Google app, the Play Store, तो उसमें it says that it is safe to download. Now, who does this? Who does the credibility or checks for this safe? Now,
See, Google has its own way.
okay.
They have their own techniques. They have got their own mechanisms. Again, there are certain known websites and vulnerabilities for which they keep a track. Like we got the OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. They identify that whether these apps are vulnerable or they are secure. Like they will
Okay.
do the certain checking, like the many number of the attacks are there. We'll discuss many of them, like spoofing attack, denial of service, man in the middle, birthday attack, password attack. They will check the website for the vulnerabilities in the code. Are these apps secure or are they vulnerable to attacks? If they're vulnerable to attacks, that means the code is not secure and strong enough, and they will not allow it to get. First of all, they will not allow it to be hosted onto the Google Play Store or
Play
iOS
Store.
Play Store.
Yes.
They will say, get a safe to host certificate first. Make
Mhm.
sure your code is strong enough, robust, secure to be hosted onto this iOS Play Store or Google Play Store.
Yes.
If it is not, they will not even allow you to do it. If you would have seen the problem around just a 2 days back, Google offloaded many number of the apps.
Apps. Yes,
Now
sir.
Now that was more into the business model of it, where they wanted to have the access to the in-billing process, the kind of money these apps were making by getting hosted onto the social media platforms as such. So almost 30 to 30% money the Google wanted to charge from the revenue these apps were generating as such, because they were the hosted platform. So
sir.
just like another news article came that nowadays we have what the Indian government is planning, that we'll come up with our own Indian Play Store. So instead
Sir,
of getting dependent upon these foreign entities like Google Play Store or iOS Play Store, where Indian apps and Indian websites are getting hosted, it's better to come up with our own Indian Play Store where Indian startups and Indian apps and Indian website get hosted. So we are not into the hands of the foreign entities, the multinational companies, so they don't dominate us. And also
sir.
the money of India remains in India. It
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
go to the US companies
Foreign
and they
entity.
start making profit out of the transaction which we are doing in Indian geographical domain as such.
Right, sir.
So when we talk phishing is we already covered. Then we talk of the vishing. It's a type of social engineering attack that happen over the phone. So if you're doing it from the websites, or if you're doing on the PCs and desktop, we normally say phishing. Phishing is a broad category, a general broad pattern. Now, if you want to focus on a specific thing, like on the phone, we say vishing. When we talk of the SMS, we talk smishing. So it's anything that happen over the phone, we start putting into a broad into a particular category of vishing, which is a part of the phishing process. Now, so only kind of the thing, the transaction that take place over the phone. And what will the callers do? They will try to extract your personal identifying details to use in perpetrating another crime. So they will try to give you some offers over the phone, and you might get trapped into the process of taking the loan from the bank or revealing your own personal sensitive information regarding your bank account details. So the objective is to gain access to your bank account details. That is what the objective is. Your saving bank account or current bank account, or maybe your demat account if you are trading in stock exchanges. That is what the objective is. And in phishing attack, caller rely on your social media profiles, social media platforms, and the expectation to convince victim to interact. So they will first of all go to your profiles on social media platforms, maybe your Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, and then they will try to see how much wealthy you are, what could be the money, because if the normal person is just having 50 60,000 rupees in his bank account, these are not the targeted individuals. Targeted individuals would be the like CEO of the companies, or the person who are very wealthy, or who got a good social media image. That is what their targets are. Or maybe the senior citizens who have got lakhs of rupees in their bank account, they are the target. So they will first of all scan your social media profiles. And if you write, yeah, I am CEO of this, I am a chief operating officer of this company, I am doing this much work. So they will come to know, okay, you are a good, rich, high profile person, having a good solid bank account. And then only they will try to target you as such, because they want to extract either your sensitive information and then blackmail you, or they will try to malafide your social image in the eyes of public, and that can be disastrous to your company or maybe your family for that matter. So anything done on the phone also falls in the category of the vishing. And now in it, intruder pretend to people from the government, the police, the tax department, or the bank. So the intruder, the black hat hacker, will phone call a person, a victim, and they will say, I will calling from ministry such and such, or from the bank such and such. And then they are carrying out certain secret operations, and they would like to involve you in doing some kind of surveys, or the bank has launched certain new schemes, and they want to spread awareness about this scheme, and that and they will might send a certain OTP code on your phone and ask them to enter it or provide it. So they keep on doing it almost on daily basis. So even if they target 100 people, at least 5 people will get trapped in the process. That's for sure. Or if they target, let's say 500 people, at least 10 will get trapped in this process. So they've got a huge number of call centers, businesses there. Many number of, they deploy many number of people into getting these kind of things, who work for the black hat hackers, and they try to extract the information. So when a trusted authority calls you, you might be nervous, curious, or feel a real duty to respond. So it depends upon the person who is actually becoming a victim. Because when they say I'm calling from ministry or I'm calling from police, now some people will believe, oh, these kind of calls are all hawks calls, fake calls, and you will disconnect. But again, some people might, at the spur of the moment, might be made to believe that these calls are genuine in nature. Now, your education does not play much role into it. It depends what kind of person you are. If you're a very coward type of person, then you might get trapped in the process. Yes, your bank may be calling you up, and it's your, and they will also reveal certain initial digits of your accounts. Also, you will come to know, oh, there's a trusted person. They will tell the name of the bank, because nowadays when we do online transfer of the money, we ask a person. In the university also we do it, and in the York office also, when you transfer money to a client, you all ask his information, like what is the account details, what is the bank details, what is the IFSC code, where the bank is located. Now all this information from moves from multiple files, one file to another file to another file. Maybe in the accounts branch, a peon can take a photograph and then reveal this information. So your account, full account number is there, full bank name is there, full branch name is there, full IFSC code is there, and then it might go into the hands of the people who might use it for some kind of info. So when these person make a phone call to you that this is your bank name, this is your account number, this is your IFSC code, you will make to believe that the call is original in nature, because the way the things are being happening in the name of digitalization, the information is not securely being captured, not secretly being stored. And fraudsters know this, and they exploit these feelings to get you into engaging, because these are the people who are into daily basis of doing fraud work, and they know that this information is sensitive to you, critical to you, and they will try to do multiple number of false calls, change the language, change the tone, change the meaning, but they will try to trap the persons. Now, if the person is doing phishing in terms of SMS, sending a text message, it's called smishing. So smishing is a cyber attack that targets individual through the short messaging services, what we call SMS, and that is what the term combination of SMS and phishing is what we call the smishing. So smishing that does not involve phone, that does not involve PC, that only involves sending of text messages is called the smishing. If you are doing it on a PC or a tablet or a desktop, we call it the phishing. Phishing is only happens over the phones or the smartphones, and the smishing only involves the malified text messages or the malicious text messages. Now, what happens in a smishing attack? The cyber criminal sends deceptive text messages. Again, the message will be written in such a manner that you will look like it's the original message coming from the bank, or from your education institution or from your office. The language they will try to keep it as original as possible. And what is the objective? To lure victims into sharing personal or financial information, clicking on malicious link where they will redirect you to certain fake website or servers, or downloading certain additional harmful software or the application. So either they will remotely monitor you, remotely capture you, capture your data, leak out your data, or maybe threaten you with certain consequences, that if you don't do this and this, then they will disclose your information in public, or they will sell your data to the hackers who might reveal out your information, destroy your public image. So they will try to do something or the other with the primary purpose of imposing threat to you. So if the intruder does it with the help of text messages, again, this comes into category of the smishing, which comes under the broad category of phishing. Now, that was another category of the phishing, which comes under broad category of social engineering. Now, these were all the information which you're talking about, the like confidential information, sensitive information, passwords, uh, threatening a person for the exchange of money. Now, there could be another kind of social engineering attack where the objective is bullying person on the cyberspace or on the internet or on the World Wide Web. And that is what we say cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is used when someone uses their technologies to harass somebody on the web, threaten somebody's existence on the web. Now, he could be your friend, or he could be your rival, or he could be just playing and just imposter. Just for the sake of fun, somebody try to bully you. And this kind of incident normally happens in schools, a lot of colleges, and even in some IT organizations also. Primarily in academic institutions where if you have got different kind of students with different kind of mindsets coming from different social backgrounds, they start fighting with each other. First, they will fight in the college campus, and then they will write certain messages, malicious messages, having slang language. They will send an email, they will send a SMS, they will send it on the WhatsApp, or they will do any kind of information to bully you in the cyberspace. The primary objective is to embarrass somebody or target another person, and it usually happens on any kind of device, like it could be your smartphones, it could be your PCs, it could be your tablets, or even your gaming systems. So primary objective is to destroy your peace of mind. Now here objective is not primarily to gather financial information or secretive sensitive information like passwords or maybe stealing your office data. That is not what the aim is. Aim is to do a fighting, maybe to bully you, maybe to harass you, maybe you have got certain kind of ill feeling for somebody. Now there could be many reasons. If you look at the human mindset, you just might like somebody for no reason. Maybe you like his style of clothing, maybe you like his smile, maybe you like his overall face and figure, maybe you like his the way he speaks, and you like him develops for him. On the contrary, you may dislike somebody again for no specific reason. The person may be using a very rowdy language. His style of clothing is not good. Uh, he is not very friendly in his approach. So there could be multiple reasons that without even talking to somebody, you may start disliking him. Or maybe there could be 100 reasons why without talking to somebody, you may start liking him. Now, cyberbullying come into the broad category of where you start bullying that person in the cyberspace. Now that again could be just for the sake of fun, or with the sake of threatening him, or for the sake of harassing him. Like there could be a case where the stalkers are after celebrities. For example, there are many number of the stalkers which are female celebrities. They may start liking them for no reason, or maybe some for good reason also. Like I still remember there was a lawn tennis incident where there was a stalker who liked Monica Seles, who she was a female tennis star around 90s, and he continuously used to stalk her. And one fine day, when he made certain advances and she refused, he reached to the court and almost threatened her in the court itself. Maybe I think he also attacked her, and she had to withdraw herself for the tournament for 3 weeks or 3 months time. So these attackers who were there in the physical world, more like what we call paparazzis, the ones if from the media, but for the common person, we call them a stalker. They start writing the messages using their blood, or they start thinking about you if you're a celebrity. So same thing if it happens in cyberspace, we start calling it as cyberbullying. And it could be disastrous sometime, could be life-threatening, because a person may get so into his own shell that he might switch over to depression, the victim, because he's continuously being harassed by somebody on the social media space. Now, there are multiple types of cyberbullying as of now in today's 2024 environment. One is called flaming. We'll discuss the difference between them. Another is a harassment, now which could be very modes are like severe harassment could be there on cyberspace, or pervasive continuous long-term harassment could be there, or it could be simple online harassment. The moment you log in, person is there and again he says something, or he captures your images, or he records your messages, and then he tries to pose threat to your existence on the cyberspace. Could be trolling, primarily happen again for social media personalities, celebrities, sports star, movie stars, politicians. Whenever they make any statement on their Twitter account or on the Instagram account or on the Facebook account, there could be 100,000 person who will start saying negative things about them, and then the person may get offended for what he is being saying it. So trolling usually happens not again for the common man. You and me doesn't get into trapped into this trolling. It's primarily happen for the case of the celebrity's personality, and the troller also want to get mileage out of it, because troller also comes into limelight. If use and the human mindset is that if you start saying negative things, the people, you gain much more limelight, then you start saying positive things. So if you start saying negative or the politicians or the celebrities, people will immediately start noticing you. and you will start gaining attention, and then you will say more negative things and more wrongful things, and you will get more attention, and then slowly you will start becoming a social media profile to your own self. So trawlers are very smart. They're doing it for a purpose, maybe for money also, when they're being paid by the rival companies or the rival celebrities, rival political parties into trolling each other. So there's it could be a paid job for the black hat hackers, or it could be just for the sake of fun, that I want to say negative things about somebody, and or maybe it could be a religious purpose where the multiple where multiple communities start thinking negative about each other's. Could be exclusion. We'll discuss more differences about them. Could be frapping. Could be simple cyber stalking for the celebrities and personalities. Or it could be impersonation. You're trying to act somebody who you are not. That is what impersonation talking. So these are various kind of the cyber bullying that happens usually on the web. Now, there's a very good website. I will just take into to that place where it talks of multiple kind of cyber bullying as it happens in the Indian platform. So, is the website visible? Anybody can say yes or no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's
Right.
visible.
So it says overview of the concept of cyberbullying in India. So it's a good site where it talks about specifically in Indian scenario. What do you mean by cyberbullying? What are the types of cyberbullying? Cyberbullying in India as being a punishable offense covered under various sections and clauses of the IT Act, like Section 66 is there, Section 67 is there, uh, Section 292 is there, Section 354 is there, Section 499 is there, Section 509 is there. This will all cover under the IT Act, which we'll have in the next trimester. So multiple penalties are being there under the different sections of the IT Act. So you can scroll it down. You can also open it on your own system, like it's called the ipleaders.in, concept of cyberbullying in India. So we can just scroll it down and come to the various categories of the cyberbullying we have got. Yeah. Like first is the flaming. It signifies the type of cyberbullying that involves sending of offensive or hurtful text messages or email directly to the victim. And it's all happening on cyberspace. You are trying to sending certain offensive messages which may be hurtful to an individual. That falls into the category of the flaming. Your flaming is sentiments. You're playing with these feelings. That is what it's all about. Then it could be a dangerous type of behavior with that can be lead to serious consequences. Now that can be disastrous also. If you come to second category of cyberbullying, it talks of the harassment, which could be of three types: severe, pervasive, and online. Severe is an online harassment considered to be severe for consequences it bears along with itself. It could be abuse or simple death threat to somebody on the social media platform. Pervasive means online harassment considered to be pervasive because at times it appears to be pervasive in nature, doing it continuously for a purpose, but minor in proportion. And you target a specific individual and you do it with the detrimental consequences as such. Online could be normally used on the social media platform like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you do online harassment on such media platforms, falls into the category of the harassment, and that is online harassment as such. Trolling we already discussed, primarily aimed for the social media personalities, politicians, entertainment star, movie stars, any kind of person who has a good huge amount of social media following. That are usually trolled. Or you could be a person could be a stalker, stalking somebody on the web, continuously monitoring his movement, digital footprints on the web. So cyber stalking is a serious offense where the victim receives threatening messages. It also includes certain physical threats. So this kind of is also very dangerous to the peace of mind of somebody on the web. And when does the frapping happen? When the individual uses social networking accounts and to post some inappropriate content under your name. The same is considered to be frapping, very close to the impersonation, where you are not what you are. You are trying to be somebody else and doing it somebody else's name. So you're not doing it your own original name. And impersonation also refers to the same thing. Exclusion means in this type of cyberbullying, an individual is excluded deliberately from a group. He's also bullied online through messages. Like, for example, in the schools and college, WhatsApp groups are there where person can be targeted for what he is doing on the web, or he may be targeted for a specific purpose, for his behavior, for action. For example, there are certain students who are very popular in colleges. Now, these students, and there are certain people who are not so popular in the colleges. So the people who are not popular in the college, they target these kind of persons, students who are very student members of student council or the members of specific community within the targeted group. So they try to bull them, they try to send the wrong messages, they try to defame them. So that is how they can take a revenge from their profiles. And that could be disastrous in a larger perspective. So when we talk of social engineering, this slide sums it all. If, for example, if you look at the cyber criminals, the company is the threat, and it could be the reconnaissance or research leading to a critical point. Now, what does this critical point actually means? In this step, the cyber criminal focuses on searching for corporate and personal information such as emails, names of the suppliers, name of the allies, name of the family members, important dates, places you visit, and more. So they will keep on scanning your social media platforms, and also people keep on uploading multiple number of their own audio videos on the Facebook that I visited Manali, I visited London, and they will share their own family images. So once you are revealing your own information, you are likely to be targeted sooner or later by the people who are black hat hackers. So in what way they target? Look at the second part of this image, like phishing is there, spear phishing is there, whaling is there. We're being targeted for wealthy individuals, like W stand for wealthy individuals actually only. Then wishing, like making malicious phone calls, honey trapping, misleading pops and scareware, publish malicious applications, smishing again on the sending malicious SMS and trapping you up, or maybe by using any of the peripheral devices like the pen drive or any kind of the USBs, they might install a malware onto your system. So there are multiple ways how the people can intrude into your system, and then they might try to capture your information and sell it to the people who might pose a threat to your existence. So let's take a small break of 5 minutes, and then we can rejoin again. Let's say 11:20, we can start.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Sure, sir.
Three different categories of the attack vectors. Like we say confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of data. CIA, very popular worldwide. It's known by this only. If you refer to any of the good books regarding to cyber security, like Beru's Frozen book or the William Stolick book, they will only refer to by this kind of name only. Confidentiality of data, integrity of data, and the availability of the data. And beyond that, we have got one final attack, what is called the brute force attack. That includes everything and anything. If I want to attack somebody by adopting any kind of the hybrid measure, any kind of the permutation combination for any of the attacks, it falls in the category of brute force attack. Something what we call Sam Dam Dand Bhed. You adopt any kind of measure, but you want to breach into somebody's privacy and try to steal his data as such. So let's look at the first one, the confidentiality of the data. What all falls into this category of confidentiality of data? So we have certain diagrams. I will just show one of them. Yeah. The attacks threatening the confidentiality of the data. So let's look at the normal way how the things happen. We'll have an information source, what we call provider, and the information consumer or the provider called servers. So one is a client, one is a server. If I'm talking in terms of the web architecture, or let's say cloud computing, so I say CSP, cloud service provider, right? Or it could be the cloud, here's a cloud service requester, and the other is a cloud service provider. If I'm talking of internet web content, I will say ISR, internet service requester, and the internet service provider. If I'm talking of in terms of telecom, I will what you have to say telecom service requester and telecom service provider. So basically we got a client server architecture. One is a client, one is a server. Now their names vary from context to context. So it could be the cloud service provider, or it could be like the Amazon Web Services or the NIC Meghraj Cloud, um, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud. So many cloud service providers are there. Or when we talk of the telecom service provider, multiple telecom companies will come into picture. Or I could be using the word as the internet service providers. Telecom companies can be internet ISPs also. So normally we have got two architecture. One is the client, one is the server. So information source and information destination. Now the attack threatening the confidentiality, the first thing is called snooping. So we got the information source. He is sending certain messages. So message 1, message 2, message 3 to the destination. Now there could be an attacker who is just overhearing what is transpiring between these two individuals. So he is not disturbing, he is not hacking, he is not violating the integrity of data, he is not corrupting the data, he is not modifying the data, he is not changing the bits of the data. He is just overhearing your conversation. For example, you would see in your offices or in your colleges, if two of you are talking to each other, to you and your friend, and there could be a third person, a stranger. Maybe in the metro, if you see, there is many number of the strangers, but they always overhear you what you are talking. So one should be very thoughtful of what he says in a public transport system, because there could be the strangers who, and if you might be talking of your family details or your office details, he might get interested, and then he might follow you, he might start stalking you, and that your conversation could be very deadly for you. So he's just overhearing the talk. So in such a kind of scenario, we say snooping is occurred. Another is the traffic analysis. Snooping in a larger perspective will lead to something called traffic analysis. Now, what will happen in traffic analysis? The snooper, not only he overhears your talk, he started analyzing that talk. He started gathering the information and start archiving that information. So if you look in this scenario, you have got two kind of scenarios are there. Let's look at the first part, information source, information destination. Normal message flow is there, message 1, message 2, message 3. Look at the second part, the lower down part. Your left hand side information source, right hand side information destination, message transmission is taking place. Now between the two, we have got intruder, which has been depicted by I. Now, what does he do? He gathers the information with what the people are talking about, what are they saying, to whom they are communicating. So if in the talk of networks context, we talk of, you will create a table. So who is the source? A. Whom is talking to destination is B. What are the content he's saying? Let's say hello. What is the size of the packet he's generating? 10 KB in size. C and D are talking to each other. What are they saying? Let's say the text message is hello. What is the packet size? If there is images also 20 KB. So what he is doing, he is again not damaging the data. He's not corrupting the data. He's not modifying the data. Neither is stealing or capturing the data. He is just organizing the data, what he's overhearing. Whatever he's listening to the conversations, he start documenting. He start writing it. He starts creating a table. So like we have seen the Wireshark software, Ethereal software last weekend. So Ethereal or the Wireshark software does the same thing. It just observes the information on the web that if the packets are flowing, the packet is following which protocol? HTTP protocol, FTP protocol, Telnet protocol, ARP protocol, RARP protocol, under which category the packet is flowing from the web. From whom to whom means from the source to the destination. What is the size of the packet? What is the trace route of the packet? Or what is the path the packet is taking place for reaching from source to destination? So Snooper does all these things. He compiles and gathers the information and then he plans his attack. Right now, he is just compiling the information. Now, whether he will attack or not, the time will tell. But he is compiling the information, maybe for his own self or maybe for somebody else who will launch the attack in the cyber world as such, or maybe in the physical world, because these are the attacks which are common to. So when we talk of confidentiality, we talk of two main things, the snooping and the traffic analysis. Now, if you look at the word traffic analysis, means you are analyzing the traffic. So what are the traffic on cyberspace? The packet name, the packet type, packet ID, the source IP address, the destination IP address, source MAC address, destination MAC address, the content of the packet. So the entire, because wherever any packet flows on the network, it follows certain protocol. Now protocol says the packet should have two types, the header and the body, the payload part. So header will be, now what will the content of the header? That depends upon the type of protocol you are using. but the content of the payload is being determined by you as a source or as a destination as such. So here we are gathering all the information about both the header part as well as the payload part. Now that is all about the confidentiality of the data. Let us see the next one. Is it visible? Integrity of data.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, great. So once we have covered with the confidentiality, means I have done as a snooper, I have done the traffic analysis and I've gathered and compiled the information. That means now the data is ready for the attack. Attack means now I'm threatening somebody's integrity of data. Means I will try to damage the data, corrupt the data, change the bits, violate the integrity, do something that can be disastrous to you. So that comes under the integrity of the data. So here, if you look at, first comes into the category of masquerading. Masquerading is same as spoofing. Now, what I'm doing as a spoofing, the information source is there, message is there, information destination is there. Now, in the masquerading or spoofing, very similar to snooping, I am trying to observe you, I'm trying to monitor you, I am trying to catch you. But again, it's silent on the fact that whether I will change the data or not. So masquerading is silent in that sense. It will capture the data, but capturing does not mean changing the bits of the data. You might capture certain information, but you may not violate that integrity of the data. So it's again a very initial kind of the attack that comes under the category of violating the integrity of the data. Because in the earlier category, confidentiality, we were overhearing the information. Now we are capturing the information and again archiving it. Very similar to the traffic analysis of the confidentiality, but the very basic in the terms of the integrity of the data. Modification is clear. I am trying to modify the data. So information source is there, message, intruder comes in between. He captures the message, the original message, and he modifies the message and then transmit it to the destination as such. Something called what we call the man in the middle attack. You somebody intrudes the data in between and you don't even come to know about it, that yes, somebody has modified the attack, somebody has modified the data, and the person done it so beautifully that you can't even detect that your data has been modified. That's the beauty of this attack as a man in the middle attack, MITM, or simply called the modification attack, where data gets modified during in transit process between the source and the destination. Other is what we say the replay attack. Now, replay means action has taken place in the morning or afternoon. The hacker has observed the action between the two parties or between the client and the server, and he has observed that what kind of data has got exchanged, who was a client, who was a server, what kind of transaction took place, and he sees that entire information. And once the transaction is over, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours down the line, now he comes again and then replay the same thing which has happened previously. So for let's say I was doing online transaction in the morning at 10 a.m. where I bought a watch for my son. Then it took around 20 minutes for the entire transaction to get done. And hacker was observing me, what all I was doing, to what all pages I was visiting, what kind of watch I selected, how much amount of money I paid, what kind of Paytm wallet I have used, digital wallet I have used for making the payments, what was my credit card number or debit card number. And I was continuously being monitored by him. Now, once the transaction got over, the hacker will reactivate and replay the same transaction again 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours down the line. And he will redo the same thing what I did in the morning. That is called replay. You are replaying the same action which was monitored by you as a hacker of somebody as such. And you will retransmit the same messages back to the destination what was being done by the original person. That is what was replaying the attack. Another is the non-repudiation. Non-repudiation means where either the source or the destination denies that they have done something. For example, you send a message to destination and destination says, oh, I was not CC'd in the message. I never received the message, and it denies the receiving of the message. Or maybe the recipient has received the message and source says, no, I did not send the message. My email account was hacked by somebody and he sent the message to you on my behalf. So either of the two parties, the source or the destination, they refuse that they did something which was done by them. So that's called repudiation, denial. You are denying your action. You are not taking responsibility of your action. So that is called non-repudiation as such. So if you look at the multiple kind of attacks which comes under the category of integrity of the data, one is a masquerading or spoofing. Another is a modification where actually the bits of the data gets corrupted or modified intentionally with the purpose of harming somebody's. Or other could be the like the replay where you act as an imposter and you replay the same, everything will be the same, the entire message, transaction, everything, all transaction be repeated in the same manner as it was being monitored by the intruder of somebody. And the non-repetition, you deny. You do not take the responsibility of your action. You say, oh, I didn't do it, so I'm not responsible for what has happened. So either the source or the destination denies their action. Now let's come to the last category that talks of the availability of the data, which is the simplest or easiest of all three of them. Availability means you as a source or a destination and you want access to certain kind of data and the data is not available to you at that point of time. Now, one of the very popular kind of the attack is denial of service attack or the DOS attacks, what we say. Here, the information source is there on the left-hand side. The information destination is there on the right-hand side. And information source, the message is getting exchanged between the two parties. Information source want to access certain data from the server, but he is not able to do it because the network gets flooded with so many number of dummy messages. So what does the hacker do? The black hat hacker, he will intrude the network and block it with so many number of hundreds and thousands of messages. And that denies the client from getting data from the server. Because when the information source, he's sending certain request messages, all of them are the request messages. Request, request, and request, because client is trying to get certain response from the server. So these are not normal ordinary messages. They are request messages. And now he waits for the action to come from the destination. So let's look at the action part. Now this is our reply. He is waiting for the reply to come from the client is waiting for the reply to come from the server. Now this reply server is generating, but this reply is not getting reached to the information source or the client. Why? Because the entire network is getting clogged with so many number of dummy messages. The congestion is getting created. And as a result of the congestion, the original legitimate message is not getting delivered to the destination because the entire network is flooded with so many number of the dummy messages. As a result, these reply messages are never being able to reach to a original source. So client will try for once, client will try for two, twice, and then he will leave. It's just like around 10 years back when the smartphones business in India was not that revolutionized, means the era before Geo. Or maybe if you remember the landline days where you wanted to talk to somebody, but the dial tone did not came because continuously busy were coming. So with that, what does the busy mean? The dial tone is not free. The network is not free. So many congestion is there on the network and you are not able to reach out to a destination. So that is what's the denial of service. Denial means you want to have certain service, but it is not being provided to you. Now, if I do it in a distributed manner across larger number of networks on a global platform, it comes into a kind of distributed denial of service attack. And there are very many number of attackers or hackers coordinate their activity. Like the hackers from China, Russia, India, US, Europe, Australia, they all coordinate their activity. They all coordinate their action. And simultaneously together, they block the network. They do congestion in the network. So that is called distributed denial of service attack. Means the attack, DOS attack that happens on a global platforms. Where all the attackers coordinate their activity and completely block the network, let's say for a few seconds or few minutes or maybe for hours. And most of these IT companies are then have no answer to these kind of the problems. So they do it intentionally, they do it maliciously because they want to show their power, or they maybe want to have certain money from this IT company that we can only be able to restore it only if you pay certain amount of money to us. So that is a distributed denial of service attack happening on a larger scale on a global platform. So these are broad categories of the attack, what we call denial of service attack and the distributed denial of service attack, which handle under the category of the availability of the data. And then comes the master attack, what we say brute force attack. Yeah, attack that is a master attack of everything. It tries all possible permutation combination to capture your password, to capture your sensitive information. So to do it, I will share a Java code or a Java program. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will also share the source code of it. So you can also try the same thing on your machine. Now, this is a Java code which does a replication, which mimic the brute force attack. It's a simulation of the brute force attack where you can try it on your own system, and it tries to tell you the password. So you enter a password, it will try all possible permutation combination and will try to reveal the password, what you have tried. So if you look in the public class, initially, if you look, we import the packages. So we are using a scanner class. Why do we use scanner class? Because if I want to perform input output operations in Java, I use the
Yes.
scanner class of the java.util package. And then I'm using a time unit class just to check in how much amount of time using brute force attack, I'm able to decipher the password. So for calculation of time, I'm using this time unit. Then public class main, then I say string, new pass is a password. So initially it has been left blank. Then I decide on the character string. Now that will include all the possible permutation and combination. So it will try to see how many digits you have used in the password. So I will initialize the string with all the digits 0 to 9, and then I will use it all characters also, both uppercase and lowercase, because your password usually comprises of these only. Uppercase A, lowercase a, uppercase B, lowercase b, uppercase C, lowercase c, uppercase D, lowercase d, and so on. What I have not included here, now this is a code on the open source platform. You will be easily to get because brute force attack are very popular on almost all public media platforms. What has not been included in this are the
Special
wildcard characters
characters.
like dot, digit, dollar, hyphen, at the rate, hash. They have not been included into it. Only the alphanumeric characters have been included into it. So wildcard characters have not been passed included. In it. So that is the reason as to why almost all social media platforms nowadays say whenever you are saving your password or creating a new password, it should be a combination of alphabets, the numbers, and the wildcard characters. Dot, digit, dollar, hyphen, hash, at the rate. So you may use one of them or multiple number of them. So that it becomes difficult for a hacker to break your password. That is what the reason is. So you need to create a password in a strong manner. Or if you're not able to do it, they will auto regenerate their own password and will say, okay, you go and use this password. Secretly generative auto generated password. Now, if you look at the main function, public static void main string arg, that's how we start with the main function definition in Java. Then we prompt the user to enter the input. So we make a call to one argument constructor of scanner class, scanner user in is equal to new scanner, and system.in means use a keyboard and receive it from there. So system.in is a keyboard here. Now I receive the input from the user, so I make a call to the next line function of the user. User, what is the user in? User is a variable of the scanner class, reference variable of the scanner class. So next line means come to the next line of the code and then fetch the password from the user. Now we'll prompt the user. Does your password only use number or it use character and number both? So we are prompting the user because that will fasten the operation of detecting the password as such. So again, we ask the user. So again, using a next line function, I receive the input and store it into a variable called choose of the type string. Then it's a while loop that start. That do you want to ignore the case, uppercase and lowercase combination? If yes, you initialize the again variable to false, else you can keep it to true. Now let me run this code so that you can able to correlate that how does it actually work. So what do I do first here? What I have done here, where the code is written, I have downloaded Notepad++. So if you look at this editor, which I'm using a Notepad++, alternatively, you can type in the NetBeans or Eclipse or any of the IDE, VS Code, which you want to use for Java. So when I provide you, this is the code, you use the Java code. One option is that you use the Eclipse or NetBeans. Another option is you just download the JDK, Java Development Toolkit, and on your system, and you can run the code on the command prompt, something like this. Yeah. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine. So what I've done here, I have not used an ID because I don't know how many of you are comfortable using the IDs. ID stands for Integrated Development and Environment Tool. So I've not used any ID. I have just downloaded the Notepad++, Java code. I have opened the Java code in the Notepad++, and Java code I will share with you. Now I want to compile and execute the program. So what to have done here? I will just show. um, just go to the C drive, go to the program files, and I've downloaded the JDK, right? Yeah. Now in the JDK Java Development Toolkit, there is a folder called bin, that is binaries, right? So in the binary, what we need to do, we need to copy the path till binaries. So I copy this path, and it is advisable that whenever you download the JDK from the web, always store it into program file folder of your system, because that's a ideal place where all these toolkits should be stored. So I just copy it up, and then I go to the MS-DOS command prompt window, and then I write the command set path is equal to, and then I've copied the path C drive, program files, Java, JDK 21 bin, and then I put a semicolon, line terminator, right? And then I press enter. So that path has been set up. I want to check whether the path I have set up has been actually set up or not. So what I can do, I just invoke Java compiler by writing Java C. This will tell me, yes, the path has been set up. So if the multiple commands come, that means now it is able to detect that yes, Java path has been set up, right? Now, what I do, I compile the program. So I say Java C main.java. Java C is for Java compiler. Main is the name of the program. Java is a Java file extension name, right? Java C main.java. Now it has not produced any error. That means the program has got successfully compiled up. Now, once the program has got successfully compiled up, it will produce a .class file. .class file on your system. Now I want to run a program. So I say Java. That means now I'm invoking the Java virtual machine, JVM. And I write the name of the program, the name of the class file, that is main. Now, without any file name extension, I invoke the Java virtual machine on my system. Right? Now, it will expect me to enter the passwords. So let's give a very simple password, AB, so that it quickly detects it. Then when we'll execute it again, we'll keep a long password, right? Or let's keep the uppercase and lowercase combination, something like this. Now it will ask me, is a symbol using option? If so, type yes, else type no. So it is using, so I will type the yes. Now what you will see, it will start doing a permutation combination to detect what is the password being entered. So detect the password AB, and it took roughly 0 millisecond to find the password. Now if you scroll it back, you see the program output. What it is doing, it is creating multiple combinations. Start from this place. It uses all the wildcard character, hash, dollar, ampersand, then it tries the lowercase character, lowercase a, uppercase a, lowercase b, uppercase b, lowercase c, uppercase c, and then a lowercase till it reaches to z, right? Then it again uses the hash and the combination of hash along with all the wildcard characters, then the combination of hash with all the uppercase characters, lowercase characters. So it creates a multiple permutation combination of all of them till it reaches to a place where it is able to detect that this is the password which you are using in your system. So these multiple kind of attackers or hackers, they try to write the same brute force attack, and they try to see what kind of password you are saving into your system. Now let's keep a big password. So I re-execute the program again, and let's keep the name of a department USAR. And I say 123, right? Right now the program is not tapping for wildcard characters, so like at the rate hash dollar, but yes, we can do it, right? So I'm now here, I'm using the uppercase characters. Let me write lowercase character also. A becomes lowercase, R becomes lowercase. So now we got uppercase character, lowercase characters, and the digits, right? Let's keep a digit as 123, and then I run a program. Now it prompts me, in your password, are any characters are there? Because if the characters are not there, then why do you use A to Z? The process of detection will be much more faster. In the real time, the hacker will never ask you these things. That's for sure. This is a user-defined program, so we are prompting it. Or if you also don't want to ask, you can make it as a comment entry and ignore it. You can just directly enter it. But here, for the sake of simplicity, I just want to fasten the process of detection of password. We are prompting a string that whether you is your password using symbols or. So since it is using a symbol, I press yes, and then you will see it starts doing a permutation combination, start checking that what is the kind of password you have generated for your secret information, for hiding your secret information as such. And then it will go on and on and on and on. It will try to create as many permutation combination as possible. So more complex the password, more difficult is for the hacker to actually break your password. So that is why most of the social media platforms says when you create a password, you keep it uppercase, you keep lowercase, you have digits, you have wildcard characters at the rate dollar digit hyphen hash, because that will make the life of the attacker or hacker difficult. It will take much more time for him to crack your password as such. So it will keep on doing all the rounds unless and until it reaches to the USAR 123, which it will be able to find out, no doubt, because it's a program only, it will hardly take few seconds more, and it will be able to reach up to that place. So I will share the code. You also run it on your own system, and then you can try it out. And then yes, definitely we can enhance it to include the wildcard characters.